Attention citizens. It's now time for mandatory listening. Stop what you are doing and turn your attention to the loudspeaker so that it may tell you how to think and feel. Remember, if you don't, you will be taken to a secret facility and tortured to death in the name of freedom. USA. 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 Mandatory listening will begin in 3, 2, 1.
Take it, bitch.
David. Oh, yeah.
Take it, you little whore. Shit.
Are we live?
Welcome to Mandatory Listening, the official propaganda broadcast of the CamPain. I'm David Scandura.
And I'm Cody Zervas.
And we're the future dictators of the country you now know as America.
You see, we believe America is the land of opportunity for everybody, as long as they are power-hungry and morally destitute politicians. But we believe somewhere along the line, it lost its way. That people began to be empowered. Poverty, violence, and suffering diminished with scientific progress.
But worst of all, a social stigma arose around being evil. Back in the golden age of America, a president could order the internment of Japanese people without feeling judged or being discriminated against for his evilness.
But things sure have changed, which is why we're running for the presidency in 2016 on a platform of pure evil.
We want to return this country back to its glory days. I meant to say gory days. And as everyone knows, creating a constituency whose perception of reality is molded to your convenience is the first step in being elected.
And that brings us to today's mandatory listening, which, of course, is the public address we issue in order to set the facts straight, so that you all know what to think and what to feel without the intrusion of that pesky thing. What's it called?
Truth.
Ugh, the mere sound of it is painfully boring.
We are currently broadcasting live from our super fortress of evil constructed from pure triggers and microaggressions, which we harvest from the blogs of bi-curious African child soldiers. And by live, we mean right now. Whenever you are listening to this, we are currently broadcasting it. We've been repeating it nonstop for days without eating or sleeping.
That's what we sacrifice for you, America. That's how much we love you.
You could call us martyrs.
Call us martyrs. It's the only way we can get off.
Please.
It's now time for our first segment. You see, our history goes back a long way. We've been fighting for the American dream for as long as we can remember. But our great deeds get forgotten by the mists of time, and because our enemies,
critical thinkers,
are always trying to tarnish our reputation. That's why we like to remind you of how we've always been on the right side of the issues. We've always been doing great things for America.
This segment is called On This Day in History. On this day, 75 million years ago, we successfully performed double penetration on a male Tyrannosaurus rex. That T-Rex was later given a Purple Heart for his great sacrifice to our country.
In 60,000 BC, we did not receive first communication from his infernal greatness, the lizard god Havorketh, he who shall melt the eyes of the heretics.
We accidentally injected AIDS into our penises on this day in 1985. Somehow they only made our dicks stronger.
And on a sadder note, tonight in 2013, we looked into the night sky for the first time and saw the moon. It filled us with sheer terror, horror, and cosmic mystery. We then vowed to not rest until its reign of evil had ended.
It was truly a dark day. And lastly, on this day in 2016, we started this podcast and changed the course of history. Trust us, we've been to the future.
Well, that was our list of great events on this day in history. Good work, David. I think we did some great things.
Good work to you, too. Our next segment is called The State of Evil, in which we update our loyal acolytes and passive enablers on the affairs of the CamPain.
In news, our speechwriter was let go.
Over the side of a bridge.
For including too much information, data, and truth in his speeches. So we'll now be addressing the public primarily with pithy slogans and symbolic hand gestures. Salutes, raised fists, and that Illuminati hand sign that all the presidents do are all in the mix. The official hand gesture of the campaign has yet to be determined.
As for the status of the Treasury, the coffers of evil are doing extraordinarily well. We bathe in your hard-earned money every day. However, the coffers are noticeably lacking in something important: your last dollar. It's only through the absolute financial devotion of everyone we have made empty promises to that we can have enough money to never have to reuse the bills that touch our skin. So please, if you haven't donated yet, donate today. Bathing in the same money twice is for candidates who come in second.
And that's the state of evil. All right, now it's time for Cody and David's Story Circle. You know what that means. Parents leave the room. This one's just for the kids. Everyone gather around.
Children are the future, and it's time they were appreciated for it. What's our story this time, Cody?
This one's called The Happy Happy Squirrel. Once upon a time, there lived a young squirrel named Squee. Squee lived with his family up high in a tree.
Squee loved his family, and they loved him right back. Yes, life was just great in the squirrel city of Quack.
Because the squirrel village was led by two brave squirrel leaders who kept everyone safe in their homey hollowed-out cedars.
Except for one year in Quack when things weren't going so great because of market manipulation perpetrated by bad squirrels whose campaign contributions to the leader squirrels was pure coincidence and didn't tie the leaders to them in any culpable way.
One day, Squee strolled through the woods to watch the leaves fall and take his mind off his dad, who was drinking alcohol.
And to Squee's surprise, he stumbled upon another squirrel town, but this one was filled with squirrels who were brown.
These squirrels weren't like any Squee had previously seen, but they were nice, so Squee stayed and had a cup of tea. But when he got back, he was met with something bizarre. A big squirrel in a suit asked him to get in a car.
Squee was taken to the big canopy palace up top, where the leader squirrel selflessly worked for the people nonstop.
They sat him down and the squirrel leaders appeared and told him he could be a hero, the squirrel of the year.
They told Squee the brown squirrels were behind all of their woes, and Squee only had to tell them what tree their town was below.
But Squee was scared for the brown squirrel's well-being. He didn't believe morality was ever that simple or easy. The leaders were frustrated and told Squee he was selfish. They insisted the others were bad and had to be dealt with. But Squee knew he must stay strong once again and be silent, to prevent their primal fear of others from leading to violence. We must deal with our problems with reason and temperance, and not scapegoat the people who otherwise are our brethren.
Yes, he knew he must stand up to the forces that divide us, even when they come from good places like the leaders that guide us.
So Squee stood up to temptation and refused to sing, and he sat there and smiled, knowing he had done the right thing. And kids, that's how Squee's valuable lesson was learned, that each of us can improve the world by choosing love at every turn.
And the very next day, the brown squirrels came into town and killed everyone they could find, every squirrel that wasn't brown.
They slaughtered every single man, woman, and child. They killed Squee's family, and the leaders then smiled.
They raped all the corpses and sewed clothes from their skin. Squee's face turned into a little squirrel moccasin.
If only Squee had listened to the advice of the leaders, they would all still be safe in their homey hollowed-out cedars.
Because lessons are stupid, and love is even stupider than those moccasins sit in a brown squirrel's homey hollowed-out juniper.
The end. That was quite the story.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Did you kids enjoy it?
Yeah!
And do you all know what the moral of the story was?
Kill the Jews!
That's right!
It warms my heart to see such bright young minds being inculcated with our values.
Children certainly are our future.
They were our past too at one point, and that turned out pretty great. Kids, you can all bring your parents back in now.
And remember, this was our little secret. Don't tell them anything that happened here, or the brown people will come get you in the night. Don't tell your parents how we touched you in your heart.
That was Cody and David's Story Circle. Faithful listeners, it's the part of the show where you get to have your meager voice heard over the sounds of utter chaos and devastation by your almighty emperors.
It's the segment we like to call incessant bitching and moaning. If you have a question, comment, concern, or desperate plea to not be fed to our laser raptors, you can send them to us at thecampaign.com/contact. Our highly trained group of developmentally challenged monkeys will be sure to sort through your questions at random, fold them into paper airplanes, and throw them in the general direction of our desk. They are then dictated to us to the tune of Go Tell It on the Mountain by a naked Polynesian man covered in butterscotch while he repeatedly inserts the handle of a toilet plunger into his ass. His name is a foo.
Our first question this week comes from Samantha from Huntsville, Alabama. She writes the following. Dear Cody and David, I'm a single mother of 3 beautiful little boys. I work very hard to support my kids. I wait tables at a diner during the day, and I'm an exotic dancer at night. I'm having trouble deciding who to vote for in this presidential election. I want to support a candidate who represents my views. What steps are you taking to make life easier for single mothers like me and ensure a bright future for my children? Wonderful question, Samantha. Cody, would you like to respond first?
Samantha, listen. If there's one thing David and I are passionate about, it's the future of America's children, and especially the well-being of children in single-mother households. We have several organizations in place to guarantee children get those opportunities.
We have plans in place to help children enter the workforce at a younger age and build their resume for future careers with mandatory child labor laws. Jobs in sweatshops, dinosaur clothing facilities, and of course, the harsh and unforgiving asteroid mines in orbit around Eulectus 4, the homeworld of the cosmic sun reavers for the past millennia, whose gaping maws can render a man of his digestive tract in precisely 3.2 seconds.
In addition, all students will receive free public education where they will learn skills of mathematics, science, history, English, and memorize our sexual habits and military achievements by heart.
Over the summer, they'll have the opportunity to go to summer concentration camps where they can appreciate the simple life, with nothing but a thin sheet on their bed and a scrap of food on their plate.
And at the end of a long day carving effigies of our penises out of fossilized mammoth remains using nothing but their fingernails, they can take a nice warm shower and relax. Trust us, Samantha, the future of your children is in good hands. Vote for us this November, or we'll knock down your front door with a bulldozer fueled on the blood of blind day-old puppies and run you into the dirt.
And don't worry, there's a place for a single mother with your talents here at the White House. Just apply for the first brothel.
Thanks for your question.
And now we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor.
This mandatory listening is brought to you by Monsanto.
Monsanto, because it's no big deal that the same company made Agent Orange and most of the ingredients in your orange soda.
Monsanto, because Agent Orange was a long time ago and totally not a big deal.
Monsanto, DDT was also a really long time ago and also not a big deal at all.
Monsanto, PVCs were kind of a long time ago, but so not a big deal.
Monsanto, recombinant bovine somatotropin is still happening, but you don't worry your little head about it.
Monsanto, the only company to ever sue Mother Nature and win.
Monsanto, remember, there are chemicals in everything. Chemicals we've patented. We own you.
Monsanto, sustainable agriculture for a better tomorrow, is a phrase that makes us laugh.
Monsanto, biodiversity is for communists.
Monsanto, because Ringo was the best Beatle.
That was a word from our sponsors. It's now time for the pterodactyl screech. That was the pterodactyl screech.
They say history is written by the winners, but who decides who won? White people, of course. Which is why we decided to be white.
And through talent, hard work, and power of will, we are. That's why we've taken to speeding up the process and writing history in the present.
Our next segment is one we've been doing for 10,000 years. It's called Writing the History Books. Our first piece of eventual history is the Iowa caucus, which, as everyone knows, is an important part of the American presidential campaign trail, and which was completed last Monday.
Now, the numbers say we didn't get the most votes.
We'll discuss our issues with numbers later.
And some people would tell you that means Hillary Clinton and Ted Cruz won, not us.
Those people are already having their minds scooped out in our prehistoric pain dungeon.
But that's not how history should remember it. Because the Iowa caucus has less than a 50% chance of predicting the party nominee, which means that by not winning, we successfully accomplished part 457 of our 939-step plan to take the White House.
In other words, this was a stunning victory for the campaign.
Blinding, really.
And that's how the history books will remember that.
Our next piece of eventual history centers on humanoid ferret and part-time enemy of Superman, Martin Scully. Marty has recently been receiving all the attention his high school self could have ever wanted after his company purchased the rights to a drug commonly used to treat AIDS patients.
And frankly, we're a little offended.
He shouldn't be getting all this attention. We should.
Mart doesn't deserve all this attention because he's not the right kind of evil. He's not truly evil. He's not really in the club. He doesn't go to the bowling night on Tuesdays.
You see, there are two kinds of evil. First, there's true evil like us.
True evil comes from a natural talent for not seeing other people as real people. It's cold-blooded and calculated and brash and bold and beautiful and doesn't apologize for itself. It's not a choice, we're just born this way. When Rupert Murdoch, for example, causes uncountable suffering by slowing down the progress of the human race through the lies he sells to billions of people, he does it with the whimsical glee of a kindergartner playing with trucks.
Fake evil, on the other hand, is just an attempt to fill the hole in someone's heart left by being too shy to ask out the hot girl in high school. It's dark and brooding and insecure. When it bombs a church or shoots up a library, it's really just a cry for help.
And Skrellionaire is decidedly the second kind of evil.
Which is a shame because he really has potential.
One day he'll wake up and realize that he's the only one that can give himself love, and he'll hang up the old cape and gloves and be out of the evil game forever.
That's why we want history to remember that it's the heartless psychopaths and the rest of the pharmaceutical industry that are the true heroes.
Keep in mind that, in much the same way black people use bad to mean good, we use heroes to mean villains.
They are the ones that tirelessly labor day and night without thanks or recognition to profit off the suffering of the masses.
And we can't forget the sociopathic members of Congress who could stop them but don't so they can share some of those profits. It's people like them and people like us, truly evil people, that should be getting the spotlight.
This is just another example of people like us being held down.
And that's how history will remember that.
Our last piece of eventual history is the Super Bowl, specifically the halftime show. More specifically, Beyonce.
Fuck Beyonce.
Fuck Beyonce so hard.
Fuck Beyonce so hard it erases her from having ever existed.
Fuck Beyonce with an 8-year-old's penis so she gets arrested for pedophilia.
Fuck Beyonce right in the soul.
Fuck Beyonce with an explosive dildo constructed from the bones of an ancient hate god.
Yes, fuck Beyonce, that stupid fucking cunt.
And that's how history will remember that.
That was writing the history books.
And now it's time for Moonwatch, the segment in which we update you on what the evil circle in the sky is up to this week. According to our reports, the moon seems to be in a waxing crescent phase this week, which NASA scientists say is normal and as expected. That doesn't diminish our suspicion at all, though, of course. NASA is probably in collusion with the moon after all. They did go there. What did they do up there? Spending time with the moon in the dark? Trading secrets? Taking selfies?
After all, Neil Armstrong did say, "One small step for man, one giant moon rock shoved up my asshole."
Our crack moon specialists will continue to keep watch day and night. Mostly during the night. And that's Moonwatch.
And that's what we have for you today.
As always, we'd like to give you positive reinforcement for opening your mind and body to us and letting us fill you with our egos.
Remember to loyally follow our every move at thecampaign.com. That's campaign with no G, because G is for Jew.
Our t-shirts are also available for purchase there. As everyone knows, every great political movement is fueled by t-shirt sales.
It's now time for us to return to slumber in our coffins.
As always, America, stay stupid.
Mandatory listening is now concluded. Indoctrination complete. You may return to the relentless march of your meaningless lives. Cody and David, now that that's over and no one is listening, which one of you wants a blowjob?